Now that is how you do a retirement. Thank you, Tanahashi. Let's talk about it.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Hey, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mark It Down podcast. I am James Gisanti. It is 2026, and we are starting the year right. We are starting it with Wrestle Kingdom. What up, Fernando? Happy New Year. Welcome back. We're getting this year going the right way. You are absolutely right. Wrestle Kingdom last night was fire. I enjoyed the show from beginning to end, despite how late these shows go. I will be honest with you. I may have knocked out halfway through. It's not any indication of the show. It's not any indictment on the show. I'm just an old man. I just can't do it. What up? Doing well. Thank you. Hope you're doing well too. I know I started this out saying it. This is how you do a retirement. And look, we're a month out more or less from the John Cena retirement. I feel how I feel. I stand by how I feel. I wasn't thrilled with it, but I've come to peace with it. It's about making sure these stars, these talents, go out the way they want to. Oh man, I got super emotional for Tanahashi. Hiroshi Tanahashi, who is the lion himself, as far as I'm concerned. The ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling. That was how you want to go out. It's what I wanted for Cena's retirement. It made me bitter all over again, despite saying I was at peace regarding Cena's retirement. But this isn't about Cena. This isn't about WWE. This isn't even about AEW. This is about New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is about Wrestle Kingdom 20. And right now, this is about the retirement of Hiroshi Tanahashi. Fernando, I don't disagree that he was the Sting of New Japan. He carried the company on his back for years and years during the dark days of the company, that restructuring of the company. He was the hero. That sounds like a lame thing that another podcast is trying to do. I don't know what that is, but what up, Eric? Happy New Year. I got to see two of the greats go at it one last time. Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Kazuchika Okada in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. We've seen this match before in the Tokyo Dome. Thrice before, and as commentary pointed out, Tanahashi was up 2-1 against the Rainmaker. And boy, did Okada bring the Rainmaker back. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the details of the match. I'm not going to get into the minutia of every move, because this was a match based, for me, off of emotion. There's a reason, sure, why Tanahashi chose Okada to be his final opponent. He was very honest. He was very upfront. He felt that Okada was the only man around who could bring out the best Tanahashi had to give at this stage in his career, with all that he has gone through. No, Nakamura was not there, Daniel, unfortunately. WWE don't play nice. And yeah, Fernando, you're absolutely right. They do have excellent chemistry. These are two guys that have a long history, but not just in main event scenes, but throughout their 10 years together in New Japan. These guys were bringing out the best, not only from each other but themselves. They had to bring out a little bit extra. And we saw that last night in Okada. Okada, who tried doing his AEW stuff, you know, the zoom out middle finger, the not the silliness, I don't want to say silliness, but the guy who's not taking things too seriously. It wasn't until the end where Okada just did everything he could to put down Tanahashi, Rainmaker after Rainmaker, dropkick after dropkick, missing on so many occasions moves that Tanahashi was just doing his best to counter. It wasn't until Okada embraced his former self, his Rainmaker persona. He did the wide out arms, everything, that he was able to finally put down Tanahashi. This was really, I don't want to say a match of like the bully taking on, you know, the old man, because Tanahashi did bring it to him. Okada dominated, I want to say, like 90% of the match, but let's say 80% of the match. But Tanahashi would not back down. Tanahashi would not stay down. Okada tried getting him counted out after a pile driver onto the a tombstone pile driver onto the ramp. He was doing everything he could to just break down Tanahashi, and Tanahashi would not have it. Tanahashi showing that fighting spirit that makes New Japan Pro Wrestling what it is. Tanahashi fighting, clawing his way back to his feet over and over to give every last bit of energy into this matchup. For me, that's what I want to see with these guys. I don't want to see acceptance. I don't want to see humbled peace. I want to see these fighters, these warriors, these gladiators. If they're going to go out on their back, I respect that. But if they're going to go out on their back, it's because there was nothing left in the tank. I adored this matchup. I adored this send-off. Let's see what Chris has to say. Hi, Chris. I'm not happy with AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling and the partnership. It hasn't been presented too well at all. Chris saying AEW is making New Japan Pro Wrestling a laughingstock. Chris, I'm going to have to disagree with you. You have one more comment here. New Japan Pro Wrestling should dump AEW and end its partnership with AEW. Chris, I know that this is a growing sentiment amongst the New Japan fans. I respect that. I don't want to take away from your opinion because you're entitled to it. And we enjoy discussing different things here. And Chris saying that AEW is hurting New Japan Pro Wrestling. Chris, if I could just give you an alternate perspective here. The reality of the situation is New Japan has been hurting for quite a while now, and it's not really because of AEW. It's because of New Japan Pro Wrestling and Japan as a whole, unfortunately. We're seeing lots of stars leaving New Japan. We've seen Gaijin come back to the States, or at the very least, Gaijin leaving Japan and coming to the States. People like Kenny Omega when AEW started. Jay White jumped over. Will Ospreay jumped over. But sure, they came to AEW, but they're not the only ones. We saw a lot of people leave. Cody, obviously, went to AEW, then WWE. We saw the Bullet Club guys. We saw the Gorillas of Destiny head to WWE. It's not an AEW issue. It's a New Japan issue. Some of that has to do with the fact that New Japan's booking under Gato hasn't been as strong post-COVID. Post-pandemic, New Japan has seen a stagnation of sorts where there is a heavy reliance on the stars of yesteryear. We'll talk about the semi-main event, which was Yota Tsuji, the IWGP Global Champion, taking on Konosuke Takeshita, the IWGP World Champion, in a winner-take-all match. Now, I love that match too. That was a banger. That was a banger, and I hope you enjoyed it. And there's a very great question. Why is an AEW star holding the IWGP World Championship? I think it speaks to how New Japan has been booking New Japan. Unfortunately, Yota Tsuji, who, in my opinion, was a more than worthy competitor for Takeshita, he should have been IWGP champion a year and a half ago. But that's not AEW's fault. That's not AEW's problem. That's how New Japan's been booking. they were so hesitant to pull the trigger on some of their younger stars. And we're going to get into it because after this match, I'm not going to go into the World Championship. I'm going to go into the start of the show, which blew my mind in a not great way. But Chris, I appreciate the conversation. I'll hit some of the rest of your comments. Chris saying New Japan Pro Wrestling is the best. I love New Japan. It's why we're here. It's why we're talking. I love New Japan. It reignited my love for professional wrestling in the late 2010s. Kenny versus Okada, Naito, his chase for the title, his desecration of the Intercontinental title, Bullet Club, Los Ignorables de Japón, Suzuki-gun. That's what brought me back my love for professional wrestling. I love New Japan. I want them to thrive. But wanting them to thrive means needing to understand what their faults are. And I don't think AEW is the problem. I think AEW is highlighting New Japan well in America. I think New Japan needs to highlight themselves a little bit better in Japan. I disagree, Chris. Chris saying WWE should buy New Japan Pro Wrestling. The reality of the matter is, look what happened with WWE bought AAA. Sure, they're highlighting some of their bigger acts over there, but the reality of the matter is they're sending over their WWE guys. They're sending over Dominic Mysterio. They're sending over El Grande Americano. They're sending over a lot of their talent. So it's not any different. Say what you will about Konosuke Takeshita holding the IWGP Championship. Konosuke Takeshita is one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet. Kazuchika Okada is Kazuchika Okada. AEW didn't need to lend those talents over for this, but they did. So I think it goes both ways. I disagree. WWE should not buy New Japan, not on the basis of AEW, but on the basis of I don't want WWE owning everything. They don't need to. They shouldn't, because we would not have gotten the Wrestle Kingdom we got last night. And Happy New Year to you, Chris. And no offense taken. This is what we do here. We talk. We enjoy. We're marking out together, bro. This is awesome. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoy the rest of what I have to say. And if you disagree, let me know. You guys know the deal. When I'm by myself, I got to do social media too. And there's a bunch of you guys on Twitter too. What up, Tyler? How you doing, pal? Happy New Year. Thank you for being here. Did you enjoy the show? If not, let's talk. If you didn't get to watch it, I hope to illuminate you. Hold on one second. There you go. See? I'm getting better at it. But finally, after Okada embraced his inner Rainmaker, his former self, able to put down Tanahashi with multiple Rainmakers. Rainmaker, kick out, elbow slam, elbow drop from the top rope, one final Rainmaker, and that is it. That is the end of the legendary career of the legendary Hiroshi Tanahashi. After the match, we saw a beautiful display of respect. Okada bowing down to Tanahashi and showing his respect, his gratitude for his epic rivalry with the Ace. And then came just a wave of stars, of former champions. Tyler, you absolutely should watch the next one. New Japan's schedule could be a little iffy, could be a little hard to track, but if you can, watch it. If you're interested here at the pod, we could definitely cover it. We had just a wave of people come to pay respects. First, it was the brass, it was the management, it was the corporate people from New Japan, and then came first. It was Jay White, Switchblade, looking great. Really happy to see the Switchblade back. Then came Will Ospreay, paying his respects, and then came Kenny Omega, who was accompanied by the dumbest, craziest man in professional wrestling, Kota Ibushi. Kota coming out hobbling on his broken femur, walking his way down the ramp, paying his respects to his wrestling god, Hiroshi Tanahashi. It was terrifying. I'm going to be honest with you. It was terrifying. Then came Shibata, and that was really sweet. That was really special. Shibata came down in character. He covered his ears, not wanting to hear what was going on. Then he tore off his ops shirt. They traded a couple of chops back and forth, and then they really hugged it out in the ring. It was beautiful. Then came Keiji Muto, who was sitting ringside. He was then joined by Tatsumi Fujinami, and they took a big group picture. It was lovely. It was sweet. And after that, the music hit. And came out Tetsuya Naito. Tetsuya Naito, who we have not seen in New Japan in over 7 months. Tetsuya Naito coming out, paying his respects to the ace, fist bumping him, getting on the mic, paying his respects to his to his rival. Tanahashi asked for one last favor. He asked for one last Mexican wave. They stood in the ring and did a 10-bell salute. It was beautiful. And Naito also said that unless I misheard the translation, he would likely never wrestle in New Japan again, which is big, which isn't surprising, but it's something that we kind of expected. Overall, this was a touching tribute from a grateful group of men showing their appreciation to a very emotional man who earned, not deserves, but he does, but earned this send-off. Again, I don't want to spend time comparing it to other things, but this is how you send off a legend. This is how I wish certain other retirements had gone in 2025. But thank you, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Thank you for being the guy to keep that company going. And obviously, he's still going to be a part of New Japan. He's still going to be wrestling, not wrestling. He's still going to be in the behind the scenes corporate structure of. Oh, that was very weird, guys. I don't know if I lost you there for a second. Sorry. But he's obviously going to stay connected to New Japan for the foreseeable future at the very least. And thank you again. But let's move on to the rest of the show. I could go on and on about this retirement. It was beautiful, but the show must go on. And let's start at the top of the show in what was a very fun but very, very messy match that was just a lot. And in some ways, like I said, very fun, but in some ways very disappointing. And let's just go with it. This was a battle royal for the never open weight 6-man tag team championships. This was a way of getting as many people on the card as possible, which I appreciate, which I respect. It's a great way of getting everybody there. Lovely. My issue is some of the people that were in this match should not be in a opening multi-man crazy match. I don't even know that I could properly list every team that was in this, but I'm going to try. Let's see. Going into the match as the reigning champions were Toru Yano, Yo, and Master Wato. They came out last because they had the champion's advantage. This was a match that you could win by eliminating the other teams either by pinfall or throwing over a member of the team over the top rope. It's going to be messy when you have this many people in a match. It just is. The inherent nature of it is messy. The first team to enter was a combination of Shota Umino, Yuya Uemura, and from DDT, Kaizei Takaichi. Right out the bat, nuts that Shota Umino has fallen this far down the card. right out the bat. Again, Yuya Uemura, I understand it. It doesn't make me happy, but he shouldn't be this far down the card either. We had a House of Torture unit, which was Kanemaru, Ren Narita, and Sonata. Former world champion, Sonata. Crazy. We had a combination of TMDK, which was Oiwa, Hartley Jackson, and Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr., who was world champion 6 months ago, was starting the show in a multi-man match. We had a combination of we had the Knockout Brothers with Clark Connors, who was accompanied, by the way, by Tekla, which was awesome. I'm so sorry. It's hard to cover everybody that was in this matchup. We had a combination of Tiger Mask, Taguchi, and Makabe. There were so many guys here. We had a combination of Ishii, Yoshihashi. Goto was in this match. He was the New Japan World Champion earlier this year too. He was the IWGP champion. It's very frustrating to see such great talent that were highlighted so well earlier in the year be neglected to this opening match just to get them on the card. It's a bummer. It's not right. And again, Chris, if you're still here, I think this is an indicator of what I was talking about, that Gato's booking hasn't been phenomenal. Now, look, there are some factors here that we need to address. This was a one-night Wrestle Kingdom, thankfully, as opposed to the two-night Wrestle Kingdoms that we've been accustomed to. There was no Wrestle Dynasty to add on top of it either. So they were going to have less time. But I've also been a part of, I've watched Wrestle Kingdoms in the past that went on for hours and hours and hours. And they did not do that here, which is a blessing, but I don't think they properly made use of their time either. I'm struggling to say what matches maybe shouldn't have been on the card. I don't know that I would have replaced and put certain stars in better spots, like Zack Sabre Jr. or Goto or Shota Umino. It's hard, but there had to have been a better way of doing it than this. There had to. Ultimately, ending of the match came with Zack Sabre Jr. pinning. I forget who he pinned. I will say that now. I believe it was Oleg. Yeah, he pinned Oleg with a bridge. 1, 2, 3. TMDK are now the never open weight 6-man tag team champions. Very messy match. Not that messy's bad. It's just, it's hard to really go over everything. Congratulations to TMDK. I am very sad for Zack Sabre Jr. Look, he main evented last year, so good for him. But what a drop. What a drop. Like, it's nuts. And I don't think he did anything wrong to deserve it. Moving on, we had a women's match, a winner-take-all match, as the IWGP Women's Championship and the Strong Women's Championship were on the line as Saya Kamitani took on Shuri. This was a fun matchup. It was unfortunately the only women's match on the show. Typically how things go in Japan, unfortunately. But they made the most of their time. These two women really put on a banger. It took a little while for them, I think, to heat up. I'd say that, like, in the first half, less so in the back half, but in the first half, it did sort of feel like, not they were going through the motions, but there was definitely a measure of, we're just doing things. We're just going to hit exciting spot after exciting spot after exciting spot. It didn't really, to me, come together until the back half, where there was, it felt like things were a little more cohesive. Ultimately, Shuri getting the win in a tight, high-hitting matchup. She hit a buzzsaw kick, then went for the Ocean Cyclone into a Death Valley driver. 1, 2, 3. New champion. current and new champion. Shuri wins the New Japan Strong Women's Championship and retained the IWGP Women's World Championship. Good for her. Hope to see more of Shuri wherever, but great showing for both of these women. Next, we're going to go into another big multi-man matchup as we had the Bullet Club War Dogs, which was Drilla Maloney, Gabe Kidd, and Dave Finlay teaming with unaffiliated New Japan talent, Shingo Takagi and Hiromu Takahashi. Hiromu and Shingo being unaffiliated have to do with the fact that there is no longer a Los Ignorables de Japan, which makes sense considering Naito is gone. But it was definitely weird to see Takahashi and Shingo teaming with Bullet Club in any capacity. They took on the United Empire, being funded by Andrade El Idolo, as he was joined by Hanare, Great Khan, Callum Newman, and a mystery partner. And that mystery partner turned out to be Jake Lee, former Bullet Club War Dog member who betrayed them a few months ago. As it stands now, we know that there are several Bullet Club War Dog members who are reportedly leaving New Japan, or at the very least rumored to be leaving. That includes leader Dave Finlay Jr., or Dave Finlay, I don't know why I said Jr., that includes Clark Connors, who again was joined by Tekla from AEW, his, I believe, real life partner. So I think we have an idea of maybe where he's thinking of going. So it was a very interesting thing to watch. It was also very hard to decide who I was rooting for because other than Shingo and Takahashi, I think everybody here is a heel. Ultimately, the match was fun. The match was a good showcase, specifically, in my opinion, for Jake Lee. Jake Lee looked like an absolute stud. He has been gone for 15 months, and he kind of just looked like he didn't care. Not that he didn't care. I don't want to say he didn't care, but he was so nonchalant. It felt very Los Ignorables. It felt very Naito. It felt very Takahashi. Ultimately, the finish coming with Jake Lee just going to town, decimating Hiromu, hitting him with his big boot into the corner, rolling like he hits a big boot on the outside to Hiromu, rolls him inside, then hits his big Yakuza kick, his big Haluva kick into the corner, and then covers Hiromu with one hand. That was it. 1, 2, 3. United Empire gets the win. After the match, a man came in from the crowd wearing a mask, super kicked Hiromu, and took off the mask to reveal it was Francesco Akira. He shook hands with his group. They posed together, and I guess this is it. This is the new United Empire. I'm going to be interested to see what this means for Andrade. Andrade, who, let's not forget, has been dealing with a lot of issues contractually. What up, Maria? How you doing? Happy New Year. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. It means a lot. And Dan, thank you for listening while driving. Just be safe. Be safe. I know where you're going, so be safe. It was a great show last night, this morning. For some of us, it was both because we may have fallen asleep, but I really did enjoy it. But yes, with Andrade, it seems that he's free to go wherever. We saw him pop up in House of Glory in December to take out the world champion Charles Mason. We see that he's fronting United Empire here in New Japan, and commentary made note. They made point to say AEW wrestler Andrade. So let's see where he shows up, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see him soon. After this, we had just very annoying, a fatal four-way number one contenders match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship as El Desperado took on Kosei Fujita, Taiji Ishimori, and Sho. The junior champion, Doki, was at ringside, saying that he didn't want to overshadow Hiroshi Tanahashi's great night. So this was going to be a number one contenders match where the winner will challenge Doki at some point in the future. It may have been announced that it'll be New Year's Dash. I don't think so definitively. We'll see. I know, Maria. We did talk about it. I'm sorry you might have missed it. If you want, go back, check the pod after we're done. But I did cover Tanahashi's retirement. We end the year, Maria, saying goodbye to Cena, and we begin the year saying goodbye to Tanahashi. Bittersweet, but his ending was beautiful. In my opinion, it was an excellent, excellent send-off for the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Look, Maria saying Andrade brought his issues on himself. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I truly don't know all the details regarding Andrade and his contract situation. What I will say is I am not the biggest fan of Andrade. It seems like he can be a little messy with the back and forth. And I don't want anybody to not be able to perform. I don't want anybody to not be able to have a livelihood, to be able to provide for themselves. And I think the WWE contract situation was awful on their end. I'm glad it seems to be resolved. As long as he keeps his nose clean, no matter where he is, whether it's New Japan or AEW or House of Glory or wherever, he finds his way back to WWE. I hope he's able to perform, and I hope he's able to do what makes him happy and make money and not have to deal with nonsense, which there has been a lot of nonsense regarding Andrade's career in the last couple of years. But this four-way, it's what you're going to expect from these four talents. El Desperado, who took on Doki for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship last year, but that match had to go. That match had to sort of deal with some unfortunate shenanigans as Doki broke his arm in the match, and that's how Desperado won it last year. Look, overall, this was fun. El Desperado got another big win. I'm sorry I'm burying the lead here. I'm sorry I'm not really covering most of the matchup. But the reality is it was just four excellent juniors going at it. These multi-man matches have so many hot spots, so many big spots. But it wasn't until the end that we saw the House of Torture, who Doki is aligned with, get involved in the match and just start to beat everyone down. Doki himself got in the match, nailing Ishimori with a pipe. They were counteracted. House of Torture was counteracted by Robbie Eagles, who came out of nowhere. He was joined by Robbie X, and then Kuokai came out, who is El Desperado's partner. They even the odds, allowing El Desperado to get the win with a Tiger Driver onto, I think it was Fujita. Either way, 1, 2, 3, El Desperado, our new number one contender. Seems like we're getting a rematch of last year's Wrestle Kingdom. God willing, everybody's safe. God willing, nobody gets hurt. And we get the match we were supposed to get last year. Moving on, we had a very intriguing matchup as Evil defended the never openweight championship against Aaron Wolf. This is Aaron Wolf's not only first New Japan match, his first title match. This is his first ever wrestling match. Fernando, nobody is a fan of House of Torture. I don't even know what they are anymore. They have so many members that basically they just come in to do beatdowns. Even though there's some good talent in there. Like, I really do like Sonata. I love Ren Narita. Obviously I like Doki as well. And once upon a time I liked Evil. But they just do the same thing every match, and it's exhausting. I just don't. You've seen one match with a House of Torture member, you've seen them all. Yes, this was a solid day. I'd say this was better than a solid debut for Aaron Wolf. Aaron Wolf, a Olympian, getting his first ever professional wrestling match. It's almost unheard of. I need to express to you guys how beyond rare it is for a wrestler to have a debut match and get a championship match in Japan. It's very rare in North America. It's even more rare in Japan. So for him to do this is kind of nuts. He did get a special entrance. He came out bare trunks, like black trunks, head shaved. He's looking like a young lion. And there are even some demands here where Evil's, during the press conference for New Japan, demanded that Wolf would need to do all this stuff. If he lost, he would need to become a young lion. He would need to shave his head. He would never get to wear a gi again. But he did most of this stuff, and I really appreciate that. I think Evil was the right opponent for Aaron Wolf. This is a bold claim. We'll get to that in a second, Fernando. As Evil is a very solid worker, a very straightforward worker, and you could count on him to put on a safe matchup with someone. And I'd say we got more than a safe matchup from Aaron Wolf. Wolf hitting some beautiful spots. He hit a beautiful power slam. He hit an Olympic slam. He had some great spots. He took a beating too, getting some hits in. He got put through a table, and we saw that cut his back because those New Japan tables do not play. House of Torture were beating him down. Fale, my God, Fale, still doing his thing. God bless him. Eventually, the ending of the match came with Evil trying to hit his big spots onto Wolf. He's going for he hit a massive lariat, 1-2, not getting the 3. He tried hitting his Everything is Evil, but that was countered into a hip throw. Wolf then went for an armbar, which Evil was able to fight out of until Wolf was able to counter him into a triangle choke. He kept it in, getting both arms. I've never seen this in professional wrestling. Getting both arms for the triangle choke. This knocks out Evil, and now we have a new never openweight champion in Aaron Wolf. If this was the start, I'm really looking forward to what's next. Going to what Fernando said in the comments, Aaron Wolf is going to duplicate what Kurt Angle did in wrestling, coming from the Olympics. Yes, he said it. Look, this was a hell of a debut. If he's going to grow, we've got a lot to be hopeful for. This was a great first showing. He showed that he could go. He showed that he's willing to play ball. He does not seem to have much of an ego here. This was a guy who, I don't want to say humbled himself, but came in as very respectful of the spot he was being given. So I'm very intrigued by this kid. The Never Openweight Championship is a fair title to give him where you don't have to worry. It's not too much pressure. They could easily take that belt off him at any point, and it won't mean too much to the structure of New Japan. But it's a good way of saying we have faith in this kid, and let's see what's next. So bravo to Aaron Wolf. Good job by Evil and, I guess, House of Torture. But overall, very excited for the future of new Never Openweight champion Aaron Wolf. Maria saying Wolf has a lot of potential. She's pulling for him. Maria saying she thinks Evil is going to WWE very soon, unfortunately. WWE, and that unfortunately WWE doesn't book Asian wrestlers very well. News to me about Evil. I not that I doubt you, Maria. I just haven't really, I guess, been following too much of his contract situation. I'll be intrigued to see if he does leave New Japan. If he does, he's got a good look for WWE. He wrestles a very WWE style matchup, and he's very clearly okay with being in the middle of the card. So maybe that is his future. We'll see. I think as long as our expectations for him are mid, I don't think we're going to be too disappointed. But good luck to Evil with whatever that may be. Maria saying his contract expires next month. That does track. Most New Japan contracts expire at the end of January or very early February. So we'll see. We'll see. Rooting for him too. Moving on, we only have one or two more matches. We only have one more match to cover. The semi-main event, winner take all, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship and IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship on the line as Konosuke Takeshita took on Yota Tsuji. We briefly talked about it at the beginning of the show. this match slapped. This match was great. I really, really enjoyed this matchup between these two young, electric, charismatic, hugely talented stars in Yota Tsuji and Konosuke Takeshita. Yota Tsuji, who has been very vocal about his displeasure with the AEW partnership, something that would probably make Chris happy in the comments. And Konosuke Takeshita, who is a multi-contracted man who is mostly an AEW talent. This match hit on every level. These were two young, hungry guys who have so much that they need to want to prove. Takeshita has less that he needs to prove. Tsuji has more that he needed to prove. Unfortunately, considering the booking, despite knowing how good he is, everything was hard hitting. This was strong style. This was we had so many great spots here. We had both men hitting each other's bits as Tsuji hit the package pile driver into the German suplex. Takeshita hitting Tsuji's spear. Multiple spear attempts from Tsuji that were either dodged or countered by Takeshita, which was really great. Takeshita hitting a massive top rope blue thunder bomb that I thought was just going to end it. We had the broken arrow. We had everything that we wanted. Tsuji even hit a huge alley-oop out of nowhere, something that we haven't seen him hit in a long time. This match went around a half hour. Near the end of it, at like the 25-minute mark, Takeshita sidestepped a Gene Blaster and hit a picture-perfect Poison Rana, which is just super impressive for guys of their height. I'd agree, Maria. This was a spot fest, but I will say it wasn't the typical spot fest that felt like there was no flow. I thought this was a great connecting matchup. Like everything sort of beautifully led to one another. Maria saying that this was an excellent back and forth match, which I'm inclined to agree. Ultimately, the finish coming with, oh my God, I love it. It was a beautiful shootout spot as Takeshita was going for his running knee and Tsuji going for his spear. They were both in their corners. They charged to the middle of the ring, and Tsuji caught Takeshita with that spear, and then hits the Gene Blast, and then hits a Boston Crab. He locked in a Boston Crab onto Takeshita. Takeshita being forced to tap out. And we have our new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion and retained IWGP Global Champion. This was a very humbling spot for Takeshita, tapping out in the semi-main event. As an AEW fan, not thrilled, especially as we're leading into this major feud probably with Okada, or at the very least the Don Callis family. I'm surprised, but I think it told the story. Good for them. After the match, during Tsuji's coronation, Gato is gonna Gato. Jake Lee comes in from behind, flattens Tsuji with another Yakuza kick. He tossed the belt on top of him and then just left. Showing the same casualness, the same nonchalantness that he showed earlier during his matchup. I am really sick of this. I've watched many Wrestle Kingdoms, and I have watched many Wrestle Kingdoms end with the new champion getting ambushed and attacked afterwards. Let them have their moment. This was Tsuji's major final crowning achievement moment. This could have happened on New Year's Dash tomorrow. Didn't need to happen now. Just absolute silliness. But otherwise, a very fun pay-per-view. A very Maria saying, to most American fans who don't happen in what doesn't happen in America doesn't matter. You're right. I'm sure AEW. See, I don't know. I think Don Callis is going to make a thing about it. I think Don is going to talk about Takeshita tapping. We'll see. I think he's gonna use it as justification. Okada beat Tanahashi. Takeshita lost to Tsuji. I think that's going to be part of his justification for sticking with Okada and ditching Takeshita. I don't agree with it, but I think that's what we're getting. Overall, guys, I really enjoyed Wrestle Kingdom. I thought this was a beautiful send-off to the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. I thought we had some great matchups. I thought that was a great matchup. Tanahashi versus Okada, Tsuji versus Takeshita. I enjoyed seeing a lot of people. The debut of Aaron Wolf was a lot of fun. The women's match was a lot of fun. Ultimately, these multi-man matches, whether it's the Fatal 4-Way or the Bullet Club War Dogs versus the United Empire or the Never Openweight match, it was a great way of getting a lot of talent on, but it's not very fulfilling. Despite them having some fun spots, it just wasn't super fulfilling. But I thought it was a good balance of very fulfilling matchups. Overall, I am happy. Overall, I am excited for the direction of New Japan. We have a new world champion in Yota Tsuji, who is going to be taking on Jake Lee. Bullet Club is up in the air. We're saying goodbye to a lot of the old guard. No Naito, no Tanahashi, no Okada. Presumably, Takeshita will be coming back to AEW for a longer stretch. Although admittedly, he, I guess, spent more time in AEW than New Japan as champion, which upset a lot of New Japan fans. I understand. But we're going to be seeing a very transformed main event scene. God willing, that leads to a lot of renewed interest. God willing, that leads to a lot of upwards trajectory for people. Fernando saying he's very worried about the future of New Japan. Look, despite how I felt about that Never Openweight starter, they featured a lot of people. Shota Umino still got time. Sonata still got time. Yuya Uemura still got time. Ren Narita still got time. Yota Tsuji cracked through, finally won the world title. If he could do it, I'm hoping that the rest of the young guys can do it too. Aaron Wolf, someone to keep our eye on. Ultimately, New Japan is entering a new phase, and I think it's only for the better. It's up to Gato to book it the right way. But, guys, thank you so much for joining us here at the Mark It Down podcast. It's 2026, y'all. We're going to be going wild. As it is, I know my guys are going to be filming new content tonight, so go check out Danny and Eric at some point whenever they post it. I do agree. I think Finley is leaving. Let's see. My money is he's going to WWE. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up. We are over that 2,000 mark because of how awesome you guys. So thank you so much. January 15th, TNA starts on AMC. We're going to be doing a huge giveaway. Details to be coming on this next episode of Gympact, maybe even on our AEW coverage. Royal Rumble coming up. A lot of fun stuff. Check us out. You know the deal. If you're new and you're just checking us out for the first time, thank you so much. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Join the party. If you're one of our regulars, whether you're Maria, Fernando, Tyler, Chris, so many of you guys, thank you so much for commenting in today. Thank you so much for being here. You know we love you. Stick with us. More fun stuff coming up. More fun stuff. Guys, have a great one. Have a happy, happy, happy new year. And we'll be seeing you soon. Bye.